Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the Town of Naples Planning Board to order for Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. Would you please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Just down here, pop those off.
In attendance this evening, we have Martina Witz, Marty Zatarian, Robert Fogg, our municipal planner, Kathy Tombarelli, and our assistant to planning and code enforcement, Kathy Eddy, and myself, Doug Bogdan. 2A, do any board members have a conflict with anything on the agenda this evening?
Yeah, I do. On 6A, let's see, 6A. Yeah, I'm going to recuse myself from 6A.
Okay. All right, so Robert's going to be here for the first part of the meeting, and 6A is to recuse himself, okay? Thank you, Robert.
Yep.
Okay, item 3, we'll review the meeting minutes from February 3rd. Take a motion to accept them as written.
Yeah, I'll take a motion. Move to accept the minutes as written.
Okay, motion by Marty, second.
I'll second.
Martina, second. All in favor? 4-0, thank you. Old business, there is none. Table business, item 5, is a public hearing. It's a request from All-in-One Insulation, Inc., represented by Teradyne Consultants, LLC, for a final plan for Wildflower State Subdivision, a major 7-lot, single-family residential subdivision located at 528 Sebago Road, map R07, lot 63, in the rural zoning district. This parcel is 10.31 plus or minus acres and identified as lot 17 of the Wildwood Acres subdivision. That's a lot in one breath. My glass is fogging up.
Brings you back to COVID, right?
Yeah, right? Hopefully never.
All right, you guys are stuck with me again, Craig Sweet, filling in for Tim tonight.
Sorry, your name, Craig?
Craig Sweet, yeah, filling in for Tim on behalf of All-in-One tonight. I know from the last meeting, Tim had submitted the required updates. They updated the HOA documents with the cistern maintenance and some stormwater buffers language, and he had the letter from the road commissioner for the road names, and then the biggest thing I know was the phosphorus, to look at what would 100% removal entail for the viability of the project. I know Tim provided a narrative on that with the basic. I'll go over just the basic at the end, and we can dig into it deeper. So the original project is a 7-lot subdivision with the existing lot 1, which is an existing home, and then 6 proposed lots along the rear. To look at the balancing of 100% removal with the lot size and the shape of the lot makes it difficult with the long roadway needed to get back there. So it's a balancing act with the budget, because as you add or remove things, you're on that last sheet of the budget sheet, it's the proposed pre-treatment phosphorus, varies with those increases or decreases. So it's kind of a balancing act of how much road or how much of this will impact that. The overall budget for the site is 0.38, which takes into account the existing conditions and the lake watershed for that. And they came up with 100%, it would have to reduce the road length from just under 1,600 feet down to about 925, 950 feet, which would remove lots 5, 6, and 7, and then lot 3, or lot 2, I spoke, would have to be eliminated in order to construct a some gravel wetlands or wet ponds, which would have to be built in series. So it'd be multiple, different multiple wet ponds in series to achieve that, removal rate. So instead of one large pond, there'd be 3 in series, because they would compound on the removal. And then there'd be some additional buffers that would need to be built here and about here, I believe, to help with that treatment, which, to build 950 feet of roadway for 2 lots, and then the added cost of these BMPs would make it unviable. Those, you're looking at 50 to 60 for a single, and then once you have them in series, there's a scale, but you're probably looking at between $100,000 and $150,000 just to construct the gravel wetland or wet ponds in those areas on top of the roadway cost. It kind of, with a original cost estimate of construction at about $250,000, even if you take down half the road and add in another 100 to 150, you're at the same construction cost for 2 1-acre lots being added to it, which the costs just don't make it feasible to construct out there. I'm happy to talk about that more. And I know that there was some other discussion with the select board about the in lieu fee and that kind of stuff. One thing that the applicant is asking is if while that's being settled, a condition could be of the approval to approve it while that settles, no construction and no building permits on the lots, which will allow, he has a sale pending for the first lot, and that is contingent on breaking out the lot of the subdivision. So he'd like to be able to break out the lots with a condition of potentially no construction or building permits issued for the remainder of the lots to allow him to sell lot 1. But, I think that covers the major differences, and I'm sure there were some questions. I'm happy to talk through any of those.
Do we need some more clarity on the note from the lawyer before we?
Sure, I can update you on that. So I did go to the select board, and the select board asked me to run it by legal, and I did, and I just got the answer for that. And it was long in lawyer language, for sure. Basically, but you can summarize it in her last paragraph, which is, in order to implement this program, she feels that there needs to be some ordinance revisions first. I already talked to the finance director about setting up a reserve fund. That's not gonna be a huge issue. It's mostly getting the ordinance passed. And as you know, since you're a select board form of government, it has to go through town meeting. The next town meeting is May 19th. I did some real quick drafting of ordinance language based on what LEA had sent us and based on the attorney's comments, and that's at the very end of this supplementary memo. I got an email like 15 minutes before we started that she has some recommendations to change this draft ordinance language, so I'll have more. But she does think that it can work. It just needs to be tweaked a little bit as far as the language, and it would have to pass at town meeting on May 19th in order to do this. So that's kind of where we are right now. That's not undoable. We do have an ORC meeting tomorrow. We won't have final language by tomorrow, but I can work with the ORC on that. So it is feasible that we get that. Of course, it's gonna be up to the voters to decide whether or not they wanna adopt that ordinance change. What they want to have in there is basically, LEA had said that we need to at least talk about phosphorus, because we really don't talk about it all that much in our ordinance language. And then we need to have the enabling language to allow Naples to collect the fee. And so those are kind of the 2 big major components. We've been relying on major subdivision, knowing that that goes to MDEP, and they've kind of been taking care of it in that realm. So the place that we would add it to the ordinance would be in the general subdivision requirements, which means it applies to all subdivisions, because everything in 107 applies to all subdivisions, not just major subdivisions. So that's how we're trying to address that. We're trying to be flexible and fast, to the best of the fastest that we can move in a select board form of government that requires town meeting.
So my question based on all of that is if we decided to do a condition of approval and the ordinance doesn't change,
Right.
then the project is not.
The project's not viable. they would still be allowed to divide out lot 1 regardless. So I'm okay with that. I would just have to change some language in number 7, something to the nature of this approval is contingent upon establishment of the Naples compensation policy, and then go into the rest of the language in number 7. And then a new 10, the lot shown as lot number 1 can be divided and sold prior to the resolution of condition number 7. Something of that nature. So the outstanding items that we had were the HOA docs, which they did update, the phosphorus discussion, and there was a couple other things. Hold on a second. We already did the waiver requests, and the stormwater maintenance plan being part of the homeowner's docs, which is in tab 1, exhibit C. So they did take care of those items. I hate to throw in a monkey wrench, but I'm gonna do it. The Maine, the attorney asked me to do a little bit more research on the Maine's DEP stormwater phosphorus program. And there is another, and because we have to reference the fee structure in MDEP, because where are we coming up with this fee? It has to be a reasonable fee, and so in order to be reasonable, we're mimicking the MDEP's fee structure. And one of the thresholds in the MDEP fee structure is 75% treatment.
Right.
So that's the only other thing that I could add, is what would that look like? And this has been a fast-moving month between comp plan and all the other things we got going on, and so I realize that we're throwing this on the table late in the game.
Well, I know they looked at it today.
Good. I sent you an email earlier. but
Yeah,
that
Tim
might come
mentioned he
up.
sent it, so
Yeah.
they looked at it quick, it still would involve the construction of the gravel wetlands there. You could probably get one more lot here, crossing there, but you'd have to do a smaller form of a BMP, like structural BMP and not a buffer BMP to get the treatment of the additional roadway length, which would still, it would add one more lot, which would still make it like 1,200 feet of road and still not really feasible to build. It's really once you get to the 100% and you're building these large structural BMPs, when the original was forested buffers, those are very cost effective and their treatment meet the DEP regulations for that. Once these structural BMPs go in, the cost just kind of.
So 75% would add, you could add one more lot.
Still, yeah, well, you could have one more lot, but you'd still have to construct the large gravel wetland for this section, and you'd have to construct another thing, another similar wetland or BMP in here, which would still be too cost prohibitive to do it, because the addition of one more lot doesn't offset the costs of the construction of those.
So it doesn't sound like we have the option of a 60-40%. Is that what you're saying? 'Cause
No,
the state-
the option of the 60-40% is to do it as proposed.
No, but I
Yeah.
mean, with the compensation fee, that's.
No, yeah, it is one of the thresholds.
Oh, what did you
Yeah,
just say?
there's 60%, 75%, and of course 100%.
And
There's
Yeah.
multiple thresholds.
Yeah.
the
I was gonna ask
75
that question.
percent does lower the amount of fee per pound. DEP is, for their design calculations, it's 60 or 100, or what they go by. You can do 60% is their standard for approval. They don't have a 75% design threshold. It's just, if you can do 75%.
My experience has been, it's usually projects
Right.
that do it,
Yeah.
the big ones always do the 60-40.
It's just a
It's an
different
incentive to get-
calculation.
Oh.
of
I think
the fee.
it's, if you can do 60, 75, you can pay a lesser fee.
Yeah.
Whereas personally, I think, the 60%, the additional fee would benefit, construction, like fixing point sources in the town already. One thing, I don't know if you guys have looked into it, but I know Wyndham does it with Highland Lake Associations. They do like a yearly grant thing. So residents can write a grant, like, hey, I have a culvert that blew out. I'm in the Highland Lake Water District. I want to get that fixed. And then the fees that would come from this would go into there. And I believe Cumberland County works with them and they match some of the fees. So that way, for this one, you'd have $11,000 fee. If Cumberland County would do the similar thing here, you could match it, and it's about probably like $2,000 or $3,000 to replace a culvert like that with proper riprap and stabilization. You could get a bunch of those just from this one project in the fees, which is a larger point source likely than the residential lots like this that would have treatment of the 60%. at minimum. I think it was 65 with the original phosphorus that they had done, Tim had done for that. Just want to point that out, that could be an option when you guys explore the fee structure for that, to get some additional funds from Cumberland County. And
Yeah. There would be generic language in the ordinances related to the fee, and then we'd probably have some sort of fee schedule outside of the ordinance, because we don't want to be changing the ordinance every time
yeah,
we want to change a fee. There's still a question on the table as to whether or not we as the town can use it on private roads, even though it's not a tax, it's not levied from the residents, it's a fee paid by developers, so I still need clarification on that as well. But the general consensus right now is it needs to be used in the same watershed, not in a different watershed. And that's what the state language says for the MDEP projects too.
And they do allow it on private roads.
They do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know,
It's just a little funnier because it's
Yeah.
the town.
Yeah.
That's the connection between the town and projects is usually on town property or on public, yeah.
yeah, I know that someone from our office has a property in the Highland Lake watershed, and that road had like washed out over the past winter, and they got the grant from that, and they were fix it up and install more BMPs to not fix the runoff into the Highland Lake watershed. And
Any examples that you can send me would be helpful.
Yeah.
Because that's, the lawyer's asking for examples of other towns that are utilizing anything similar to
Yeah.
this, so she can echo that language.
Bridgeton does it too.
Bridgeton?
It would make sense if they could be used on private, where you're collecting it from private roads, and it could be used somewhere
Right.
else.
Exactly. I definitely think that it makes sense. It's just making sure that we're covering ourselves from a legal perspective. There's this thing about towns using money on private property is a big deal.
that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we close on this? So who prepared the worksheets for the stormwater calculations?
Tim did.
Tim prepared it? So is this what we have in the handout, is this the complete set of the calculations, or just the
Yes.
top level?
No, that would be the 100% set, yep.
Okay, because I only saw calculations on there for lots 3 and 4.
Well, because the other ones would be gone in that situation.
No, on the calculation for the pre and post.
Oh, that is just for the 100%, what is in the most recent one. The 7 lot was in the last submission.
Last submittal, which I have here.
Yeah, so that one doesn't include the other lots because they'd be gone in this scenario.
I see,
Yeah,
I see.
I believe the last one, it was, I think I have a copy here, but it was a much higher export before any treatment.
Okay, I was-
Double.
Okay.
Do you know which submittal it was and which tab? Off the top of your head, I'm looking.
It was the final, and I think it was,
Tab 8.
I can tell you the tab, here, I got the letter here, it was tab 3.
Got it.
That one is the one that had the breakdown for the entire 7 lot subdivision.
So I had a question, why, there's no, in the calculations, there's no wetland acreage that's covered in there? And I look at this and I can see that there's at least, pretty close to an acre.
It goes by national wetland acreage, so if it's registered on the National Wetland Inventory, is how the language is. So it doesn't go by wetlands on site, it goes by National Wetland Inventory, that's the NWI.
When you say it goes by, that's the DEP standard. is to
Yes,
use
yes. Yeah, that would be the MDEP standard, just to use the National Wetland Inventory.
And, I know what I don't know on all this
Yeah.
stuff. I really don't know it. I'm not a civil engineer. So at the end of the day, is this a full set of documents with a PE stamp on them, saying that, yes, this has been certified as a professional engineering review and document?
There should be a stamp on the stormwater, but it is prepared by Tim, and then our owner, who's a PE, reviews it because Tim is the EIT.
So, yeah, I would request that we have at least a PE stamp on this to verify this is a
Yeah.
certified document.
I know there's PEs, they have it on the drawings.
Yeah, on that drawing,
There
yes, I
should-
saw that
It should
one.
be on the stormwater report cover, but everything is certified by a PE, that would be,
It's on,
I know it was on the original stormwater.
yeah, the SWP 1-4,
Let's see.
Paradigm, it's tab 3 of the final submittal, there is a PE stamp.
I believe it's usually on the cover sheet.
I believe it's Jeff Amos, but I'm not sure.
It should be Jeff. Jeff is
Jeff
the,
Amos
he's
is
the-
the principal.
he's
Yeah,
the
no,
stamping
this-
engineer
yeah.
for Tim's work.
The one that he has right there, you can see it up in the.
Oh, yeah, I saw that, but
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if the worksheets themselves have a stamp that's associated to them.
Not the worksheets, it would be just the plan that reflects the worksheets, which is this one.
Okay, I would feel more comfortable if we have the quantified data recorded.
Because I know that,
Part of this.
I know the stormwater report was PE stamped. I don't know about the updated, because they were responses to comments from the board, so everything is reviewed before it goes out. I can testify to that.
I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just that, for the record, so that it's closed.
Yeah.
That we have the document that includes, the worksheets and how the calculations are done, so that in fact is 100% clean.
Yeah.
Just a process point of view, it's,
No, yeah.
I'm not doubting the accuracy or whatever it is, I just like for the record to have that in case it comes up for review down the road. What happened here, that we have a certified document that says, yes, this has been analyzed and is certified by a professional engineer.
Sure.
So you're asking, just to be clear, that this phosphorus control plan, prepared by Jeff and Tim,
For the 7 lots.
for the 7.
For the 7-1, yes, for the 7-1,
be
sure. If we
stamped
approve
and
this, yes, I
certified.
want to have that certification that, yes, this worksheet is a certified
Yeah.
worksheet.
I'd be happy.
I have
to-
no issue, other than that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Okay.
Is that just for the 7-lot one, Marty, you're asking for that?
Well, if that's what we're going to be approving, sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
I have to admit, I am very concerned about this property. It's got a tremendous amount of water that runs through it. There's active water even in the driest of dry seasons, the 15 years I've lived here in Naples. And there's a junkyard that's sitting adjacent to it, uphill. And so this is a real concern about the water quality.
Yeah, no, I understand. I believe that the original with the HydroCAD and the quality stuff was stamped, and I'll just ask them to, the phosphorus one that you guys required additional.
Yeah.
I don't see no issues for that, because we reviewed it, so. No, I understand.
Kathy, I had a question on where the cistern's being placed. It looks like it's in the 20-foot setback. Is that okay to be putting that within the setback? I'm looking at the 7-lot subdivision, the 7-lot map.
Hold on, let me get to
At the end of the road, it just shows it right along. I don't know if it's on the line with it or it's actually in the 20-foot setback. Looks like it's in it. No, it's gonna be underground, but it's still a structure in the,
Same thing.
Give me a second.
right where the hammerhead is, at the end of the road.
She's got it.
Proposed cisterns right there.
That's in the setback.
Setback.
Yeah,
It's in the setback.
that's a good question. Hold on, let me see if I can find some ordinance related to what's allowed. Maybe while I'm looking for that, you guys can discuss whether or not you're open to option, the 7-lot option, and I'll see if I can find some language related to the setback.
Well, think that the 7 lot would be all right if an ordinance gets passed for a fee to offset the phosphorus, or if it's someplace else in town.
Yeah, and so my understanding of the way we would word that is that assuming worst-case scenario that it doesn't pass, he can still what was the?
It'd be, yeah, it would be, lot 1 would be able to be sold and subdivided out, and then,
Subdivided from the rest of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
because technically, you know, if it was a vacant property, he could break it out like that right now without
Right.
incurring any of
Without
the
doing
rest,
anything
yeah.
else. Okay, so that would have to be clear in the way we write that condition of approval, that nothing else happens at all if it doesn't pass.
I think 7 in there has pretty good wording for that, where it says, prior to construction, issue a building permit. I think that could be reworded like that in the new lot 10. So that way, no road construction, no building permit, you know, until this fee is all settled. But lot 1 could still be, because that doesn't involve any infrastructure.
We do a waiver for the 20-foot requirement for utility easement. Is this the same project? I'm trying to read the small permit.
Yes, there is, let's see, it's street layout waiver for 20-foot easement requirement for pedestrian or utilities. So that was in one of the original waivers that were done. On your draft motion 6.3C, B, I'm sorry.
Under, we wait,
It'd be on top of page 5.
So that was the street design, street layout waiver from easement for pedestrian or utilities.
Yeah,
So you asked for a waiver not to have that requirement, but you've got a cistern in that 20-foot setback, which I would consider almost like a utility, because it's something that's required to have as part of the project.
yeah,
So
fire
does
suppression.
that waiver cover that cistern, is what I'm questioning, is what I'm trying to get at? Or was that intended to be an additional 20 feet? That's a good one.
You want to see a big picture?
Fortunately, I wasn't
You
involved.
weren't there for that meeting?
I
yeah?
wasn't there for that one. But I believe, I don't know, I think it would, as I read it,
It does, but I'm
it
gonna
would.
go back and read the language in the street design ordinance.
which waiver are you saying that it requires? But we waived the street design.
We did.
A, street layout waiver of 20-foot easement requirement for pedestrian, or that one, or utilities.
Or utilities.
Or utilities.
I'd imagine it does, because there's no easement on there, so I think that would, I would imagine that would be the intent, it's just a 50-foot right-of-way.
I think that that's what that was intended to do.
I
was
think
A,
so.
get rid of the sidewalks, and B,
Right.
allow for the cistern to be located within that 20
Yeah.
foot.
Okay.
That would typically
I
be,
remember that conversation
yeah.
of the cistern.
No, it was a couple,
project.
several meetings ago.
Yeah, because there's no easement shown in the right-of-way, just the right-of-way, and then on lot 7, there's a 20-foot.
Which brings up a question, though, is that if the cistern is located here, is there language in the deeds or on the plan allowing the fire department to have access to this, because it is a private road? So on a private road, you typically would have at least an easement or an area shown that the fire department has access to this cistern. And it's just it's a question, I'm just trying
I
to.
imagine it'd be covered in the HOA docs, which
Yeah.
has the cistern stuff, but
That's where I was thinking too.
this is one of the hiccups of unfortunately me filling in for these. So I apologize, I don't have those off the
Yeah,
top of
no,
my
it's
head.
okay, this is a unique one as well. I think I read a maintenance,
There's a whole maintenance plan at the end.
yes.
Would that be something the fire chief would normally require in his review? Or is-
He would review he's looking at the location as far as whether it's accessible to him and if there's sufficient water. But I just read a deed today, and I just looked at another subdivision plan that does have a specific cistern easement for the Naples Fire Department, as well as an easement in the HOA docks.
Was that one outside of the right of way?
It is outside of the right of way.
I wonder if
So,
I would
because it's
imagine,
in the right of way,
I
it may
think
not
it's
be required.
that's my thought. If it's in-
I believe that you are correct, and that is dealt with
'cause I think the fire,
as part of the fact that you asked for that waiver to get rid of the 20-foot easement.
'cause I think the fire department has the right to go on
Yeah,
any private road.
I think, yes, they have the ability to go on a private road, and typically the cistern is usually on somebody's lot, not in the right of way.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm talking through this, but this is how my brain works. Typically, the cistern is not located in the road right of way, it's located on a private lot. They still own the underlying ground under the easement as part of their lot, but you have to have an easement for the fire department to go on their lot in order to access it, but not not the road. So I think that that's related to the waiver request for the cistern, not having it within the 20 feet and not having to have 20 feet specifically for utilities. And it's in the right of way, so now the fire department can access it, not on a private lot.
So you don't need to require a special easement for it.
Correct.
And it doesn't need a note on the plan or anything, or would that be the
It's-
surefire way to make sure? You just put a note on the plan.
It wouldn't say fire cistern easement because there's not an easement to like a lot, for example. So just having the fire cistern on there should be sufficient. I mean, obviously, that's what it's there for.
Right.
He's gonna access the private way, he's not gonna access someone's lot to get to it. It's all coming back, this has been several meetings ago.
Yeah, it's one of those nuances of
Two
it.
different engineers.
Yeah, and two different faces on the project as well. So I think we're at a crossroads as to whether or not you're gonna move forward with the 60% treatment. I think that's basically where we're at. I'm working on the language, adjusting the conditions based on the conversations.
Well, here's my rationale through the whole thing. I mean, had we not even asked for the phosphorus calculation because it wasn't required under state law and we didn't have anything specific in our ordinance, we would never have known, or would never even have had this option. So, I mean, is going with the 60 would make it, if it were under the state guidelines, that would be what the state would be asking, would be allowing the 60/40, right? And also, we don't even have an ordinance, I mean, some towns have an ordinance that says you have to always treat 100% phosphorus, so we don't even have that. So I feel like if this ordinance that we're suggesting gets passed, it would be kind of like a win-win situation. It's gonna give us more than we would have had we not even asked for the phosphorus calculation. And I'm like Kathy, I'm just kind of saying it out
Yeah.
loud now to
Yeah.
justify.
I would like to see 100%, honestly, treatment, but this is like moving the goalposts on these folks.
Right.
And that's the part that I'm really struggling with, is moving the goalposts.
Sure.
Right. Because I look at that plan with only the two houses and I think,
No, that's
You know,
not
that's what
viable.
that-
These guys have invested money,
I know.
they've bought some land, they're under the impression that everything's
Right.
good, and now we're moving the goalposts
Right.
on them, and that's my
Right.
conflict.
so, but that could be for a discussion on another day, but
Yeah.
That's
as
right.
far as moving the goalposts, we did move them a little bit and we are getting something potentially.
That's right, that's right.
That the town could benefit from environmentally, so.
And also, when we write the ordinance, it should say the MDEP standards as amended time to time, but, we don't know which way that's gonna go either. It could go more restrictive, or it could go, typically it goes more restrictive on these types of things.
Yes.
But who knows with affordable housing and all this other stuff that's going on, because the two are in conflict, to be honest with you, right?
Yes, they
They want
are.
us to do
Yeah.
more houses, but we wanna be more protective of the environment. So,
we'll probably have some kind of language as amended from time to time, and then at some point, if it gets too wild, then you could put the brakes on it, and we could say, you know what, we're gonna repeal this.
Have to do 100%.
Oh, yeah. Yes, do 100%.
I think that should be brought up
Yeah.
for the next ordinance review anyway.
Yeah, for me, it's an equity question right now. If we're
Absolutely.
allowing larger projects to do it, how can we say to smaller projects, you have to do more, sorry.
Yeah.
If this is, ordinance language is written tomorrow
Yeah,
and move forward, we'll be able to have public hearings in enough time
yes.
to get it onto the
Yeah,
ballot.
we have a public hearing scheduled for,
March
the ordinances for March 3rd for the planning board.
Yeah.
And then
March
the
9th.
tentative date to go to the select board is March 9th. I'm hearing that it might be later because ordinances, we're definitely having the public hearing for the comp plan on March 9th because we have to. But I'm hearing that the ordinances might get bumped up to the later one where they do the warrant, all the warrant at the same time, but we'll see about that. But we'll meet the deadlines. So yes, we'll be able to do it. It still has to pass, so it has to be
Yep.
adopted.
Yep.
Like I said, we've done, I think, like 24 ordinances since I've got here, and they've all passed, but that doesn't mean that on that particular night, people won't be in a no mood. So, who knows?
This one would be benefit for the town, so hopefully they wouldn't. We get some funds to fix
Yeah.
some stuff.
I'm hoping to have an opportunity to, I'll create a memo related to the ordinances that people can pick up so they can read what they're about and why we're doing it. But, you know, when it goes to secret ballot, we don't have the opportunity to explain it on the floor, so that's the only downside of that. So I did wordsmith number 7 a little bit, and I put this approval is contingent upon the establishment of the Naples Phosphorus Compensation Program. And then prior to the construction and issuance of building permits, the applicant will submit in accordance with the Naples Phosphorus Compensation Policy, if adopted, $11,000 to the town of Naples to be used on stormwater and phosphorus projects meeting the criteria in the policy. Then I added number 10, the lot shown as lot number 1 can be divided and sold prior to the resolution of condition number 7. And then I also added a number 11, prior to construction and issuance of a building permits, the applicant is to submit the phosphorus plan stamped by a Maine licensed engineer. And then all the other conditions are the same.
I still have a few other items to bring up,
Sure.
guys. So we're done with the phosphorus discussion, I think. We good?
Yep.
Yeah, we good with this? Yeah. No? All right, so this has to do with the HOA.
Which tab is that again?
HOA, I think, is
1.
1. This has to do with the culvert that only the, calling out for maintenance of the culvert on, so this is section, Article 7, Section 1. It only calls out for the storm easement on lots 1 and 2, but does not include the culvert on 4 and 5. Between lots 4 and 5. So we need to add language for the responsibility for maintaining the culvert between lots 4 and 5.
I think lots 4 and 5 is all in the right of way. Let me double check. I think it was originally an easement the first time you guys saw it, and then it became all done in the right of way.
Which were you on, 7.1?
1, Section 1, it just says here that intermittent stormwater management treatment easement on lots 1 and 2, but isn't there something that has to be done for lots 4 and 5 as well? That the HOA should be responsible for that as well.
There's no page.
I think it's,
This one right there.
I believe that's the one he's on.
yes, it was all in the right of way. Well, this culvert is all in the right of way, so it's not in a lot.
So that would be included in the maintenance of the road?
Yes,
So it
yes.
wouldn't be a stormwater easement on personal property?
Yeah, no easement would be required on that one.
So it wouldn't be included in section 1 because it would be considered part of the road maintenance?
I believe in
It's still
the,
the association, this is
Yes.
titled association responsibility.
Yes, it is association, but isn't there a separate section for the road maintenance? That's what I'm getting at. See what I'm saying?
I do believe the first time you guys saw it, Tim mentioned that there was a culvert on 3 and 4, and then it got shortened in one of the rounds.
Now it's 4 and 5, right?
Because that section is,
This culvert right here, it's right in front of 4. And it ends on it's in the right of way.
And here's the part that's separate for roads. I don't think there is,
I don't see anything for roads.
it's not separate. Because it said, item 5 is plowing, sanding, repairing, and maintaining Beverly's Way. I mean, that is the road, and it's all in this one
Correct.
section.
7 says maintenance and repair of the stormwater management facilities depicted on the plan pursuant to the Maine. I think that would be it.
yeah. No, they're responsible for it. So section 7, Wildflower Estates Homeowner Association, Inc., a nonprofit, nonstop corporation has been organized under the laws of the state of Maine. The association shall be responsible for the maintenance and repair of the open space, fire cistern, vegetated buffers, culverts, riprap, stone areas for stormwater management, plowing, sanding, repairing, and maintenance of Beverly Way. That covers anything that's in the road, including culverts.
So that's, you're seeing that in section?
That's on Article 2, Covenants and Restrictions, Section 7. And there's no page numbers, I'm sorry.
No, no, okay.
It looks like that.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, so the part, Marty, that you pointed, I think that, so it's only, they only list 1 and 2 because they're the only one in an easement.
That's right, that's correct, I get it now. I missed that,
Yeah,
just,
okay.
sorry.
No, it's a good question.
Just want to be sure it's covered, that's all.
Yeah, no.
Okay. And I saw no mention in the HOA document of limiting clearing on the lots. I think we had talked about it was a 12,500 square foot limit per lot. And I do not see anywhere in the HOA document to reflect that.
Is that gonna be deed
That would be
restricted?
deed
And
restricted,
then
so
you can have
each
that.
lot would be different.
It would be, the stormwater permit, I believe, goes with each of the lots because of the buffer restrictions, so that would outline.
So that goes in the deeds per se?
The stormwater will have that restriction, and the stormwater report will be echoed or
Attached to each lot,
attached to each lot, thank you.
because each one has buffer restrictions on
And
there.
those buffer restrictions will be posted in the field.
Yes.
And marked, delineated in the field permanently before
Any
the
clearing.
clearing happens. And those are supposed to stay in place. It's
Yeah.
up to it's partially the responsibility of the homeowners association to make sure that those stay intact, and each individual lot owner follows those.
Okay, all right, as long as it's there, it's
Not a
documented.
great question.
There's a section back here on tree removal.
What are you referring to,
It's at
Robert?
the end of section 1, it's like the next to the last page on section 1.
Yeah, that talks about what's allowed to be
The
cut
bottom
down.
of the
It doesn't
page.
talk about square footage to, maintain what the plan calls for, which is, I think, too.
I'm looking at 6, tree removal, no purposely cleared openings may be cleared. Any removal of trees or vegetation within the restricted buffer area are limited to the following. And then it lists like dead trees, that type of stuff.
What article was that?
That is tab 1, towards the very end of tab 1, when you get to, we're talking about the level lip spreader, the
Second to last
vegetated
page.
buffers, the very second to last page, number 6.
Okay, I got it.
Same as shoreline zone.
each lot will have to file stormwater.
So on each lot, there'll be on the deed noted what their restricted zones are.
Yeah. To be in compliance with all state regulations.
And where does that get reflected in the plan?
What's that?
Where does that get reflected in the plan?
You mean where the buffer's shown on the plan?
And what the zones would be for clearing on each lot?
Hold on, just gonna pull out the buffers.
No, the buffers are on the subdivision plan.
So each one of these then becomes compromises that? Okay. As long as that adds up to,
Yeah, the building envelopes are shown on the plan, and the stormwater buffers are on the perimeter of each lot, and those will be demarcated in the field.
okay, all right, good. And last question I had on HOA?
Yeah.
Is, at what point does the HOA take over responsibility for maintenance as compared to the developer?
Is there a
That I didn't see anywhere. Again,
percentage of lots sold prior to the
percentage
developer?
of lots? Yeah, I know it's been stated it would be 50%, but I didn't see it in the HOA document. So I guess after 4 lots have been sold is when it would occur.
Don't have the answer to that
I
question.
don't know off the top of my head either.
I didn't see it when I read it,
Yeah.
I think that has to be added in. If that's
Well,
the
I think I
direction
see
that,
it.
if that's what the applicant is doing, that's what I heard Tim say, that it would be 50% ownership. You take over the responsibility.
50% vote.
That's what I had in my notes from the meeting back in August, I guess.
So the way that it reads right now is each conveyance by the declarant, the successors and assignees of any lot within the property shall be subject to the following protective covenants and restrictions. So I don't know that there is a threshold
Is there?
for the turning it over, if you would say, to the homeowners association. I don't read that there is one. I don't know if that was intentional or if that's.
I don't know. I would imagine if it doesn't read like one, that say lot 7 sold, they would be 1/7 and then the developer be on the hook for the remainder.
The remainder.
That's, without that in there, that's how I would interpret it. I don't know about the previous discussion, 50%.
Oh, that's a good question. Hold on. Keep going, I'm looking for something.
No, that's, unfortunately, that's not something I was aware of.
At some point, the road would need to be deeded to the association.
That's correct.
What did Robert say? I didn't hear you.
At some point, the road would need to be deeded to the association.
Oh, is
I
that how
assume.
that goes? Okay.
It's gonna be a private
Oh,
road.
yeah, it's private road, but then, and to assume responsibility and ownership of the maintenance as well.
Right.
Well, it seems like it should go into Article 3 maybe, it's where it talks about members. Because after that, it goes into Article 4, meeting members, so you don't really,
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, but I would believe once it's filed, the developer is the member, the only member, and then there'd be additional members added.
Well, it says the members of the association shall consist of all the owners of the lots in the subdivision, so
Yeah.
as long as the developer still owns a lot, he's a member.
He's a
right?
member of
But
whatever
I guess-
percentage, yeah.
But,
Hold on, I think she found it.
oh,
I've got my assistant over here
Okay.
combing through,
Great,
and she's
great.
doing awesome. Article 4.7 says 50%. The majority of lot owners should mean those lot owners having more than 50% of the total authorized votes as determined in accordance with section 4.7.
Is that in the bylaws?
Yes.
Is in the bylaws.
Okay, yep, there it is, 50%.
I have another question, and we apologize for grilling you, but
No, it's
there's been
fine.
a lot of moving parts on this
No.
project, and we have multiple subdivisions going through. I noticed, because I crafted this, I think I drafted this motion like 2 or 3 meetings
Sure.
ago. The amount of the performance guarantee, did we do the performance guarantee on this project, and did we settle on an amount?
I think it was discussed, I think it was,
Yeah.
but I couldn't,
I'm mixing my Teradyne projects, and I'm mixing another project. There was one that we allowed in lieu of a performance guarantee, they'd have to build the entire road.
I
don't
know-
think it's this project.
I know there was a performance guarantee submitted.
A performance guarantee submitted.
think it was submitted in the
Cost
final.
estimate in the final.
Yeah, I believe, let me just double check, I got
it's
it.
probably in the packet that you have. It's the packet before this
But
one.
before
the
this
last
one,
I've
that
got
was
it
the
right
most
here.
complete
Yes,
packet.
attachment 7
Yeah.
of the final was an engineer's estimate and subdivision bond.
Right,
Yeah.
yep.
And do you have the amount, do you have the amount of the bond right there? Because I usually refer
I
to it.
can get it, I think it's 248,000.
248,000, yeah.
Yep, I
that's
got it. Condition
Yes.
number 5, I
Yeah.
got it. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, no,
Very
it's
good, we gotta do
it's
this,
fine.
Okay,
now or never,
it's been a long month.
now or never.
It's right in the motion, number 5. And as part of that, it's all coming back, as part of that, we never got, typically, in all the other towns I've worked for, we didn't get like an email version. We got a wet ink signed bond that the finance director would have on file. And I think it's already in here that we need original of the merchant's bank.
Yep, yeah.
Typically put in a vault somewhere and saved.
Yep.
I mean, the world has changed, electronic submittals are, but we would like a letter from them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anything else?
That's all I had.
Nope. Okay, do we have to go through the review criteria, Kathy?
You should. It's found on page 4 of our memo. That has been the custom of Naples to go through the criteria found in 1001, Naples Land Use Ordinance. And then that's number 5 on page 4 of your memo. And then at number 6, I have the draft motion.
And with some edits to that.
What's that?
With some edits to that. The draft
Okay.
motion, with some edits to it.
With some edits,
Okay.
correct. And I can help you with those.
Yep. I have your name next to them.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go over our, item 5 is the review criteria on page 4. So under the Naples Land Use Ordinance, we'll go through these. It says it will not result in undue water or air pollution. Do we believe that that is met or not met?
It's Matt.
We think that it will not.
You need to vote.
They'll need to vote. So that, this is for that it has met, that will not result in undue water or air pollution, has not met that. Is that the way that's written?
No, it will not result in undue water or air pollution. Do we believe that that has been met?
That is met.
I'm gonna let Martina do it for you because
I don't want to take
I
away.
can't hear you. I can't understand
Okay.
you
Do you want me to
tonight.
read
Yeah,
it?
go ahead.
Okay. So number 1, will not result in undue water or air pollution. I think that's a typo. So do we believe it's met, NA, or not met?
Matt?
Matt,
That has been met.
want to vote on that? 1, 2,
Three.
3.
Marty?
Marty's in conflict.
I'm in conflict, so I'm just not gonna vote.
You're not going to vote?
No, I'm gonna stand on this one.
301.
Okay. Has sufficient water available for drinking water fire protection? Matt, NA or not Matt?
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 Mm-hmm.
Met.
Okay. Will not cause an existing, will not cause.
Cause
That's a
It's
hardship, yeah, I'm
It's supposed to
sorry.
be a burden, right?
Burden, that's
Yeah.
correct.
typo. No, will not cause, a burden on existing water supply? Okay.
Correct, correct.
Matt, NA or not Matt?
Matt.
Matt?
You got met or not, NA, so.
Yeah, so it's 4 for Matt. Will not cause unreasonable soil erosion? Matt, NA or not Matt?
Matt?
Should be met. Marty?
I'm standing on that. I just find it hard to believe, but
Okay. Will not cause unreasonable highway or public road congestion?
that's Matt.
It's met.
Matt? Will provide adequate solid waste disposal, septic?
Matt? Mm-hmm.
Matt?
Met.
Will not cause unreasonable burden on the municipality to dispose of solid waste, trash, sewage, if public, it's not public. trash.
Not applicable, I guess.
So the sewage is not applicable, but
Yeah.
the trash is, I guess, met.
Matt?
Yeah, so say it's met on that, 4-0.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Will not place unreasonable burden on the municipal services. Matt? and-
Matt?
Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Will not have an undue adverse effect on the natural beauty, aesthetics, historic sites, rare or natural areas.
Met.
Are you abstaining?
I'm staying on that too.
Okay.
Because the water runoff is gonna be severe on this. It's gonna affect the people next door.
301.
Is in conformance with subdivision ordinance, comp plan, land use plan.
That's Matt.
Matt?
Met.
Matt?
When situated within 250 feet of a pond, lake, river, tidal water, if it's not, that's an NA.
NA.
NA?
Mm-hmm.
Met.
Okay, so draft motion for final subdivision approval. Do you want, Doug, do you want to do it?
Maybe keep going.
Okay.
Going.
You can hear, so we can hear you.
So we need a motion to move to approve the request from All-in-One Insulation, Inc., represented by Teradyne Consultants, LLC, final plan approval for Wildflower Estate subdivision, a major 7-lot, single-family residential subdivision located at 528 Sebago Road, map R07, lot 63, in the rural zoning district with the following findings of fact and conclusions of law. Do you want us to do a motion in a second and then go through it's been a while. Or do we?
You can refer
Read
through-
all the
You
conditions
can refer
first?
to 1 through 6. As written.
printed.
As
Yeah, as
printed.
written.
as
Okay,
written.
items 1 through 6 on the planner's memo dated February 17th, 1 through 6 as written. And then for item 7, we have a slight edit that Kathy's going to read.
This approval is contingent upon the establishment of the Naples Phosphorus Compensation Policy Program, or I'm going to scratch policy, program. Prior to construction and issuance of building permits, the applicant will submit, in accordance with the Naples Phosphorus Compensation Policy, if adopted, $11,000 to the town of Naples to be used on stormwater and phosphorus projects meeting the criteria in the policy.
Okay, number 8 is as printed, right? Drinking water is to be tested prior to the sale of any lot. The drinking water must meet the state of Maine drinking water
Standards.
Standards.
standard. Number 9, inspections are required by the design engineer throughout construction. For road construction, the inspections found in 1009.8B are required. Inspections
To be submitted
to
to the.
be submitted to
Yeah.
to the Naples CEO.
Yeah, and those standards are specific inspections in the ordinance.
Number 10 was to have the,
You want me to read it?
yep, go ahead.
The lot shown as lot number 1 can be divided and sold prior to the resolution of condition number 7. And I'll read number 11.
Yeah.
Prior to construction and the issuance of building permits, the applicant is to submit the phosphorus plan stamped by a Maine licensed engineer.
Okay, so that was the motion with all the conditions of approval?
What, Marty, I think you said we have one more, what's the last one?
Is there one more that you had, or is
I
that?
don't, but I just thought of an addition to 7, a line, the last line saying, if the comp plan policy is not adopted, the applicant must come back to the planning board for
Yes.
approval.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
And the subdivision plan, I'm still thinking subdivision plan,
Or you could just say if the compensation plan is not
Adopted.
adopted, then
the
the,
subdivision is null and void.
yes.
Yeah, that works.
And that still allows them to subdivide lot 1.
Lot 1.
Right,
Yeah.
because that's.
The
addressed-
remaining, okay, I'm gonna read 7 one more time.
Okay,
This approval is contingent upon the establishment of the Naples Compensation Program. Prior to construction and issuance of the building permits, the applicant will submit, in accordance with the Naples Phosphorus Compensation Policy, $11,000 to the town of Naples to be used on stormwater and phosphorus projects meeting the criteria in the policy. If the policy is not adopted at town meeting, the remainder of the subdivision will be null and void. Does that sound like it works for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah. So that was the motion with 11 conditions of approval, right?
I'll second that.
Okay.
Motion, a second.
Any further discussion?
All in favor? 1, 2, 3. Marty?
I'm abstaining.
301. All right,
Thank you.
so you have a task list,
Yes,
and you feel free to call me if you have any
Thank you
questions.
for reading that, Martina.
yeah,
Oh,
I'll have a notice of decision written up, and they'll sign it at the next meeting in 2 weeks.
okay,
Okay?
we'll get the plans for
Thank you
that.
for bearing with us, that was a different,
at all.
that was a different application, for sure.
It was a labor of love for the town of Naples.
Good to see you guys again soon for.
For the other one, I'm glad, while you're here, can you just give us an update on the other one, which is the 12 lot, is it Box Run, is that the name of it?
14 lot, Fox
14
Hill
lot,
Estates.
Fox Hill Estates.
We got the DEP application for that approved, it just was sitting on the desk for about 6 months.
And as a refresher, that was a previously approved subdivision that never got constructed. I think there was 1 or 2 out sales on the frontage.
One sale.
One sale.
Yeah, so
And-
it was a 15 lot, and then one got sold, and now it's the other 14.
So they're coming back to get it reapproved since the subdivision approval lapsed. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem.
Okay, we'll move on to item number 6 for new business. It's a public hearing, a request by Sebastian Labonte, represented by BH2M Civil Engineering for a major site plan and minor subdivision review for a proposed 3-lot residential subdivision located at the corner of Lake House Road and Gore Road, map R05, lot 9, in the rural and limited residential shoreline zoning district. This parcel is 17 plus or minus acres. Gentlemen?
Good evening, Andy Morrell, civil engineer with BH2M, Sebastian Libonati, the applicant. Thanks for hearing us tonight. So we were last before you guys back in April of last year for a sketch plan. As you can see, the layout has changed quite a bit since you guys saw it. I believe when we were here before you, it was a 12-unit layout. We've been kind of hard at work since that time, working on different studies and survey work and other delineations. We have come back with a 5-unit layout. The two, as the board recalls, there's 2 existing homes off of Lake House Road. Those will be on lots 1 and 2 with a combined access existing driveway off of Lake House Road. Lot 3 will have access off of Gore Road with 3 cabins located on that lot. Those are shown on sheet 2 of the plans. Density supports the 5 units that we're proposing. This is a unique project in that it requires a minor subdivision and a major site plan approval. That's kind of unique. The access drive on Lot 3, we are proposing that as a private access. We have provided fire truck turnaround at the end of the roadway, but that is proposed as a private road. We met with Kathy this morning. It was a very productive meeting. We went over her memo and a lot of the comments that have been brought up to date. I think it was a very productive meeting. We have a pretty clear direction on how to move things forward. We understand there's some revisions that are needed to move this forward, but we're here tonight to have a discussion with you guys and see what other information you would like to give us for guidance as we kind of revise things and come back to you at a future meeting. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll throw it back to you and happy to answer any questions. Do you have anything to add, Sebastian?
No, so last time, as we said, I think I started by apologizing because the plan didn't represent exactly what we wanted, but the goal was really to, present the project and what we're trying to accomplish. This time, I think this is exactly what we're looking for. I had the opportunity to talk to multiple neighbors last time, and this time around, I promised I would call them. I think what they've asked me is to obviously try to, minimize tree clearing and making sure that there's enough privacy around their homes, which is what I think we have accomplished. But yeah, happy to be here and answer any questions you may have. Oh yeah, and this is, thank you. This is something we're considering as the property, the 3 cabins that we're planning to build. These are 400 square feet. They're really tiny homes. Just to give you a sense of what it would look like. It's not completely, we haven't decided entirely yet, but this is what we're going for. There's a small kitchen, a bathroom, and a small bedroom, essentially very small properties, which goes in line again with reduced impact, as we talked about before.
So what are you looking to do with these cabins?
Just to rent them.
It would be vacation rentals?
Yeah,
Year-round rental?
No, I think vacation rentals, the 2 properties we have right now, they've been operating for the last few months in the summer, and I think that's really the goal, to continue doing that. That's what my wife and I started doing about 4 or 5 years ago in Kennebunk. That's where most of the properties are in that surrounding area.
Right.
And same here, we think it's, it's a really calm, 17 acres, that's exactly what people are looking for, We get a lot of people from Connecticut, Massachusetts that want to be out of town, Rhode Island, and want to visit the area, so that's the goal.
So can these cabins be sold individually, like part of a condominium association, or would they just be stayed as a unit, as one lot?
Yeah, so as Andy pointed out, we're asking for a minor subdivision, so the 3 cabins would be in one of the lots as a condominium.
So it's like a cottage, like a rental cottage.
Right.
Is that allowed under that? That
is.
That is allowed, yes, that is allowed.
That was my question too, Rachel. And what are we defining it as? Because when you look at the rural zone, I don't see,
I knew
I mean,
that,
I
I
see
knew that was gonna
season-
come up again.
I see seasonal dwelling, I see rental,
So
but I don't think of that as a community of tiny houses built explicitly to rent short term.
So let's break that up into its components. So what is the use classification? We went through this, I think the first time we came, and first of all, let me kind of back up. I did get a letter from a butter. I don't send things to you unless they come by the deadline that we have right on the packet. But since this is a public hearing, I'm gonna read this really quick. Dear Board Committee, I'm writing this email because I have concerns about the building plans introduced by Sebastian Libinati, Real Estate Group. I apologize for the delay in responding by letter, but I was planning on being here, but unfortunately I have a family obligation I cannot get out of. I have some concerns regarding Mr. Libani's proposal for a building, 3,400 square feet of buildings at this location. The noise that these 3 houses could generate, there's already 2 rentals at one location, there are 2 houses down and we experienced fireworks, outside parties, loud music, wrestling on docks, numerous activities when people have been drinking. Mr. Lebanati has assured me this would not happen, but if it did, he told me that I could call the police. I have been a Naples property owner for over 25 years. I regard my home as Maine as my happy place and plan to retire there. I do not want to have to call the police. I do not want to deal with any of his rental problems that these rental properties may cause, like the one I previously mentioned. This should not be my responsibility. This would not be Mr. Levanti's home and not affect the quality of living. I feel that these homes will in fact affect mine. And two, the number of houses at this location, and I'll address this after I read it. Mr. Lebanati first introduced this plan. There was 12 houses. He said he didn't realize that there were that many houses when they were in front of the board. I can't believe that a person submitting a proposal wasn't aware of this. Did he not look into what he was proposing? His new proposal is now 3 new houses. I'm concerned that after he receives permission to build these houses, he will ask for more on this property to be built. The property is for investment purposes only. He will not be living there personally. This is a money venture for him. He is a real estate developer. This is not home ownership. This is revenue only. So to address the second one, I recognize that when you came in the first time, you were looking at multifamily standards, and we didn't meet the multifamily definition because it has to be 3 or more dwelling units in one structure, which didn't fit your plan. So that kind of answers that question, because at first when he came in, he was looking at doing perhaps a different type of development. So now to get to the use classification, how we can do this. Our commercial use, we have a commercial use definition, and our commercial use definition explicitly excludes rentals and residential dwelling units. So this does not fit the definition of commercial use. So now we have to look at the residential uses that we have on the books. And what we have on the books is a dwelling, a room or group of rooms designed and equipped exclusively for use as permanent, seasonal, or temporary living quarters for only one family at a time, including provisions for living, cooking, and eating. We also have a definition for residential dwelling units, a room or group of rooms designed and equipped exclusively for use as permanent, seasonal, or temporary living quarters for only one family at a time and containing cooking, sleeping, and toilet facilities. So that is your use. They are residential dwelling units. It's a residential use. So the use of what he's proposing is allowed. Now let's talk about short-term rental. We have no short-term rental policy in Naples. And so there's nothing to keep anybody from renting their single family as a short-term, and unless there is a specific covenant in a homeowners association. And this is not part of that.
Can you just tell me where that commercial exclusion was?
Yeah, the commercial exclusion is in the definition of commercial use, which is found on page 19. It might print, it'll be a little different on there. Commercial use definitions.
Is it in the definitions?
It's in the definitions specifically.
What section is that?
400.
That is the Naples Land Use Ordinance, section 400, definitions. And it says exclusive of rental of residential buildings and or dwelling units. And you have to think of the history of Naples. I'm assuming that that's why that's specifically in here. There is a history of people renting their houses on a weekly basis in Naples, going back many years. I mean, the real estate companies around here used to do the weekly rentals or however it worked. So there is a specific definition that excludes those uses from a commercial use.
Am I allowed to address the Jane's email? Or
It's
not?
up to the chair and the vice chair running the meeting.
Sure.
Yeah, so I had several conversations with Jane. She's the one person who, I think she's not in a butter, she's probably 500-600 feet from the property. She expressed some concerns. I can't stress this enough. What I heard from her is they don't want parties, they don't want fire hazard, which is fireworks, they don't want problems, and that's pretty much exactly what I'm looking for. And I can't stress enough how our interests are aligned. I'm concerned when I hear that the community next to my land has had issues with fireworks, because to me it's a fire hazard. I didn't even know it was allowed. We've been there for a year. I've never had a single complaint. I had properties in Kennebunk for 4 years. Never a single issue at any point in time. We don't allow parties. We've been asked for weddings, venues, because it's a beautiful piece of land. The answer is always no, always no. I've never in 4 years had a single issue, and what people want is privacy and being calm, rest, and then go back home. That's all they're looking for. So I just want to say it over again, because I said it about 50 times to Jane, and that's our goal.
Thank you.
One thing, I did respond to her briefly, and one thing, because this is triggering site plan, Naples does not have an independent, like, for example, fireworks ordinance, but because this is triggering site plan, you can have conditions, no amplified music after X PM, 9 PM, 10 PM, no fireworks after, or whatever time. Fireworks are allowed in Naples, so we follow the state statute, but because it triggers site plan, you can put a condition on there regarding to those types of uses. Now, the reality is that code enforcement doesn't work nights and weekends, right? So it is going to be a call to a sheriff if something's violated, but if you have a condition, at least it's enforceable.
And that's my waiver. So for my properties, there's a long waiver of things that you're not allowed to do, which is probably the reason why we've never had this issue before. We don't want problems. We want people to come in and come out and be happy. I don't want any issues. So if it's part of the overall process here, I'm happy. I can send my disclaimer and you'll see how rigid it is.
I've been involved with similar projects in other towns, and they usually submit their rental agreements as part of the submittal. That way they know what the conditions are for use.
Kathy, when you mentioned multi-families are only used for single family,
A multifamily dwelling units definition is 3 or more dwelling units in a single structure.
okay,
And if he had gone that route, because multifamilies only require 20,000 per dwelling unit plus 10,000 for open space, he would have been able to have more, because you're only dividing by 20,000, right?
but it wasn't referencing multiple families
No,
renting the 3 cabins.
one family at a time. They're only gonna have 1 bedroom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're small
It's
units.
400 square feet.
And the existing structures have how many bedrooms?
3 each.
3 each.
Okay.
I have a question. I'm going to recuse myself from voting, but can I still ask questions?
It's up to you guys.
Yeah, might as well, the more information we have, Robert.
Okay, does this property currently have snowmobile trails on it?
No.
They don't? They don't? Okay. Thought it did.
Because if it does, that could affect
I was
the
just
trail.
curious if they were going to be able to, stay.
Yeah.
We don't allow also, when just for our guests that are coming, they're always asking us, can we rent a boat, can we do this? Our answer is always no. We have paddle boards and we have kayaks, and that's all you can use, so we don't have any issues. I don't want problems.
Well, there used to be a snowmobile trail across the property, but maybe it's not there anymore.
I haven't seen anything.
You're talking to a person who's grown up here, that's why. He probably knows that.
Yeah, well, I would think that I would see it physically, right, because
Yeah.
I would not go with a snowmobile on my land, to be fair.
Yeah. Okay.
I just wanted to point out on the general notes, you still had the 55 feet as the maximum building height, and that's no longer the
Yeah.
case.
I think I told you that, I know I told another applicant that maximum height is now 35 in the rural, 35. That was changed recently.
I'll adjust that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So were you, I don't think you showed on here where the 3.
It's on sheet 3, I think is where you're going.
Where the 3 units are gonna be?
Yeah. So sheet 3 is just showing lot 3 roof.
Okay. And are they all gonna have their own septic? Yes?
Yes.
It's a single well,
With a single well?
single laundry room, I guess, is shared.
I'm sorry?
There's a laundry, it says laundry here, so.
Oh, yeah, we put that in the plan, that maybe a tiny little space to have laundry, yeah.
That'll
would
be
be
shared
another
with the three
structure.
buildings, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should, yeah.
So that would be another structure that
Yeah.
you're proposing to build?
Yes.
Okay. And what would be the square footage on that? So do you have the square footage of these buildings yet? Or do you know?
No, I believe when I sent it to Andy, we weren't clear yet exactly, so the square footage here is probably larger.
Yeah, what I'm showing on what you're seeing on the sheet 3 there is about 800 square feet. It sounds like he's looking at doing about half that, 400 square feet. They're showing 40 by 20 on the plan you're looking at now.
Full set of requirements?
I'm sorry, what?
When they go to more than 2,500 square feet? I thought there was something. I have to look after. I'm still stuck on just 3 units being there. Can they be sold off separately?
I don't believe so, right?
Yeah, we're not proposing these to be condominiums, so they could
Yeah,
not.
but legally, eventually, they could be sold as a condominium
You
association.
could potentially do that, but you'd have to condominiumize them, and you'd have to change all the deed language and create
We'd have to
a
amend-
condominium association.
We'd have to amend the subdivision.
And you'd have to
Yep.
amend the subdivision as
Yep.
well.
And that would come before the planning board?
Correct.
Yes.
Kathy, on your notes, page 4,
Yep.
halfway down at B, I think it is, you should be on that page. It just says the road doesn't appear to have a intact green buffer, you know, something that
Yeah.
sounds like some of the neighbors.
We actually discussed this today.
Okay.
This is, if you look at sheet 3, and you see the new road that's coming in, it showed on there that there's a tree to be removed.
Yeah,
That's just one tree. And the rest of the trees that are in that buffer are gonna remain intact.
okay.
So it was needed for culvert or ditching or something to do with road construction.
Well, I did see that it said that that tree was gonna be removed, but when I saw this note over here,
Yeah,
and then it looks like that's gonna be maybe a swale going through there.
Yep.
And I didn't know if like anything else was gonna be removed or if there needs to be something there. I mean, is there nothing there now? Just,
that's the question, is the buffer gonna be retained?
Yeah, there's a decent amount of trees in there now. We're certainly gonna try to keep as many of those trees as we can.
I mean, I know you can't put a bunch of arborvitae in there because the deer are gonna eat them. So it's pretty
Yeah.
pretty limited to make a green buffer in the woods.
Yeah,
Yep.
They're pretty hungry.
that's true.
So I wouldn't want someone to waste their money on that for sure.
Yeah, I've been there, done that mistake.
So I would recommend that we take the notes like kind of one by one,
Yeah,
if we could, on page 3. And I have some additional stuff, but not a lot. Because we're doing 2 types of review here, we're doing subdivision and site plan, such because there's overlap. I pulled out the stuff that is applicable that doesn't overlap. So if we start with section D, I just wanted to do overall subdivision layout, this is where we were kind of talking about what you just brought up, you know, the way, what it looks like. Basically, lot 1 and 2 are already the way that they are. The only thing that's changing is that the lot's being divided, and they're going to share the existing access. So one of them will have an easement over in order to get to their house. The existing house is already there, the barn was, because there's enough land there, the barn was also renovated and turned into a dwelling unit. So those 2 are already there.
So there was another septic put in?
No, they shared a septic.
No, they have a separate, so they share the well,
They share
and
the-
they have a separate septic.
Are you talking about the existing ones?
The
though?
barn, yeah, the existing,
The existing has its own septic as well.
right,
Okay.
but a shared well.
Shared well.
Yep.
Okay. And is that gonna stay, the well gonna stay shared?
For the 2 existing, yeah.
Okay.
Are those part of this rental thing, or are they gonna be sold, or what's happening?
No, I'm not selling anything, I'm keeping it.
Oh, those are yours?
Yeah, this is part of this, is 17 acres, yeah.
Okay.
He rents those ones already out
Right,
currently.
It's too much work to sell.
So access, remember the last time that there was more curb cuts? He's eliminated all those curb cuts, and there's just the one that's already on Lake House and 1 curb cut on Gore Road now.
Right.
So he did eliminate the multiple curb cuts that were shown on the sketch plan. which meets the ordinance. He would need to consult with Steve and make sure that that works on Gore Road, but I'm anticipating there's gonna be no issues with that. And that's Steve Merkel, he's the deputy road commissioner.
Okay.
You would need to have a letter from him. The road commissioner is the town manager, but he defers to the deputy, which is Stephen Merkel. And that road would need to be named because you're serving 3 dwelling units. Utilities, it is mentioned that the utilities will be overhead on note number 15 on sheet 3. That would require a waiver if you decided to grant a waiver for that, because we do require underground utilities in subdivision. Since I've been here, I think you have granted some waivers when it's, depending on what the layout is, based on the layout. And so that would be a discussion item. Water supply, fire protection, you will need to talk to the chief regarding what, if anything, will be required. On all major subdivisions, he has required a cistern or sprinklers. That's a conversation for you to have with him, given this is a minor subdivision, but it's also triggering site plan, and also you also have 2 other dwelling units on there. So you'll need to discuss that with him, and we'll need a letter from the fire chief, if anything. While you're talking to him, you're gonna wanna make sure that the turnaround that you provided, kind of in between lots 2 and lots 3, is sufficient for him at the same time. In answer of my drinking water supply, it looks like you're gonna continue to share the well for lots 1 and 2, so obviously there'll be an easement or allowing them to use that. And it looks like you're gonna have 1 well for the other 3 proposed dwelling units on lot 3. And then septic.
I'm sorry, is there a standard that's required for gallons per minute?
There is a state standard for wells. The town doesn't have any standards, and nobody mapped the well locations. So they'll have to meet state drinking water
So the
standards.
state standard is a gallon per minute
I
requirement
do not know
per
the
dwelling?
answer to that question.
So the one well is gonna serve the laundry facility and the 3 units?
Correct.
And I was gonna ask you a question about that, if we're going through this, right, and I've learned through owning this for a year, it's pretty dry and you gotta go very deep with the well. If for some reason we wanna come back and say we want a individual well per unit, would that be possible, or?
You would need to go to planning for that. Well, we'll
Okay.
deal with it in a
And it
condition,
would
but
need to be
I
100
mean,
feet away
we
from
don't
every
even
septic.
we don't even permit wells, so we wouldn't get involved with that as far as the code office, and we'd certainly be supportive of drilling a new well.
Oh, okay,
So,
so it's
yeah.
not, okay.
Yeah. It's not a,
Has to be 100 feet though from the septic?
yeah, it has to be 100 feet
100
from
feet
the
from
septic.
Yep.
Okay.
So you'll need to consider that when you have your final layout for septics,
Yep.
where those wells
Right,
potentially
right.
go.
We should find out if there's a gallon requirement for,
That's a good
on a
question.
per unit basis.
I've never really gotten involved in anything to do with wells because they come in with where the well locations are and they have to meet state drinking water standards.
There's one who's lived on one, or had a relative lived on one that got a gallon a minute.
Yeah,
You
which
know?
isn't gonna do much laundry.
Exactly.
Yeah. Septic, we've kind of already discussed that, but you will need for the new septic features, you will need to submit your septic designs for those, and you'll need to have a passing test pit for those lots. Particularly the new lot 2, are you building a septic? Yes, for the second house, so you'll need to have passing test pits for that. So, Kitty just pulled up a quick answer. For Maine residential water wells are recommended to have a minimum recovery rate of 5 gallons per minute for a single-family home. So if you've got more than one single-family home, obviously you'd have to have a higher rate. But we'll delve into that after. So now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of it. And if you have any questions, stop me, because I'm rambling on here. General subdivision requirements, open space. We have an open space requirement, and there's no open space in this plan. He did do the deduct for the open space when he did the net residential calculations, but there's no open space shown on that, and he's aware of that, so they're going to reconfigure the plan accordingly to have 50% open space. And then this is another crux, this is all related, these are all related. Shoreland zoning, we have a standard outside in our regular land use ordinance that says whenever a a subdivision is located in whole or in part within 250 feet of high water mark of any pond, lake, river, or proposed subdivision shall conform to the Naples shoreline zoning ordinance. So that means because wherever this subdivision is located, the entire subdivision is considered, and so the minimum lot size would be 60,000, not 40,000. So the calculations are based on 40,000. However, you do not have to deduct, our net residential calculations do not require the deductions of the wetlands and streams shown on the front page. So when you adjust the calculations for the 60,000 square foot lots, it still allows for a net of 5 dwelling units, 5 point something. So he's gonna adjust those net residential calculations according to meet our ordinance. Every town is different, so it's kind of a moving target for any engineer to make sure that they're meeting all the requirements. And this particular requirement is a little bit unique to Naples, not 100% unique, I've seen it before, but a lot of towns have you calculate a percentage of the lot that's in shoreland and a percentage of the lot that's outside of it, and then do the net residential calculations. Ours specifically says that you apply shoreland zoning standards to them.
So I have a question on
Sure.
that. So the shorelands, the lot with the 3 dwelling units is in the shoreland zone.
Partially, yeah,
Well, it's a shoreland zone lot.
yes,
That's what it is.
yes,
The whole lot is, I mean, not the whole area, obviously anything
But
back
the-
250 feet
correct.
is not shoreland zone, but
Correct.
the lot is shoreland zone.
correct.
So can you have that kind of density in the shoreland zone?
You can, we'll get to that in just a second. All lots, or all dwelling units, if you look at the short, this is what's fun about this one. The last one had its unique characteristics, this one means that we're looking at 2 sets of standards. And if you look at shoreline zoning ordinance, residential dwelling units, minimum lot area, you have to have 60,000 square foot per dwelling unit. He's got huge land, so he's can meet that. But the minimum shore frontage is 200 per dwelling unit.
Right.
Can't meet, he's not meeting that currently, and while we're talking about that, we, even though there is a measurement for the shorefront on each lot following the contours of the shore, in Naples, your definition for shorefront is more in accordance to the tie line that he's showing here. So the distance between the 2 points is the shore frontage. So on lot 3, it's 264.84, lot 1 is 463.54, and the current lot 2 is only 105.03, which does not meet. And I think in my memo, I said met because I was looking at the contours, which is 204. But you have a specific ordinance in your definition that describes frontage, shore frontage, the length of a lot bordering on the water body or wetland measured in straight line between the intersection of the lot lines with the shoreline. So you measure in a straight line, not with the contours. So we all recognize that these lots are gonna have to be reconfigured.
When you say that, you mean lots 1, 2, and 3, because he doesn't have enough room on lot 3 for 3 dwellings.
He doesn't have enough room on lot 3 for 3 dwellings, and he doesn't have enough shore frontage on lot 2 for the 1 dwelling that's shown there, because he only has 105 feet. There's possible remedies to this. We could have an open space lot that includes shore frontage, and it could be shared open space. And then you would not necessarily need 200 feet per dwelling unit, because you have a shared.
Are they creating a landlocked lot? You can't do that.
We're not gonna create any landlocked lots. That's not what,
What I heard was that you were gonna create a lot that's just shorefront.
not a lot,
Shared.
open space.
Oh,
Open space.
Shared open space.
Shared open space,
So that's a possibility, to
so it
have,
doesn't count for any lot then?
it would be shared, just like any other subdivision that we've done. You'd have shared open space that's deeded to everybody to use.
Okay.
So that's one option. It could be reconfigured that lot 2 doesn't have any shorefront at all. but they have access to that open space, so lot 2 would be reconfigured. There's lots of options, I'm gonna leave
Yeah.
that to the design engineer to figure this
Okay,
out.
So you've already had that conversation?
Yeah, we've had that
Yeah.
conversation that they need 200 per dwelling unit, and 100, they got plenty of road frontage, so that's a non-issue. So these are all nuances because we're
Aren't
looking.
there limitations on clearing from the 250-foot mark to a 400-foot mark?
There are
From a
limitations,
canopy point of view?
It's within 250 feet
250.
of the water.
only 250.
50 feet? Okay.
Only 250
Oh,
feet.
250, that's correct, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that is delineated on the plan.
Yes, I'm
I
sorry.
just
You
lost
got
it
a tree
now.
in here.
Hold on.
I'm confused.
There it is. Too many pieces of paper here. So that's number 2C. Number 2D, we already talked about maintaining the 200 green vegetated strip between abutting properties. We need to make sure that we do that.
And that's between the newly created ones and the ones that already exist?
Yes.
All properties.
The biggest concern is obviously the new road for lot number 3, so we need to maintain that 20-foot buffer.
Right now, the road's about 35 feet
Yeah.
off that property
Yeah.
line, to give you some perspective.
So moving on, that was section 107, general subdivision requirements that apply to all subdivisions. This is 108, design standards. Street design and construction streets, I don't think we want him to build a minor street on this subdivision, so that would require some waivers. I think the goal on this one is to have least impact as possible, have a gravel road built to a lower standard than what is required for your typical subdivision road. That's up for discussion, but, so they would need to have waivers related to that, just similar to what we did for the last project, they had required some waivers from the minor street standard.
Actually, part of that would be, as well as there's fire access.
Yeah,
Would be one of the
that's part of,
important
that's
things to
part
that.
of the discussion, but one of them is that a minor street is required to be paved.
Yeah.
I don't think we're looking to do that in this
Right.
particular, this is another unique situation, different than what we typically see in subdivision.
We'll certainly mention that to the fire chief when we talk to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We already talked about sewage disposal. B. C, the subdivider shall provide a statement from a civil engineer registered by the state of Maine that the proposed subdivision will not create erosion, drainage, or runoff problems either in the subdivision or adjacent properties. So we'll need to have a stormwater report from you. Clearing of vegetation, we already talked about, we're supposed to keep it as intact as much as possible. And when you're developing this, it should be limited only to what's required to do the project. So those are my
Is there a
subdivision.
limitation at like less than 40,000 square feet?
Is there any restriction to that? That would be based off what the stormwater plan comes up with. But there's no specific restriction. You have specific language in buffering or clearing of vegetation somewhere in subdivision that says that only what's necessary to be removed, and that's something for all subdivisions.
Yeah, right. I was just wondering if there's an upper limit that's
We
allowed.
wouldn't know unless there was a stormwater plan, just like the last one we just looked
Yeah,
at, where they
okay.
had a limited amount of clearing, a building envelope for each building. So now we're moving into site plan land, and that's why, the reason why we're here and we're looking at site plan is because in your site plan applicability section, I like to always say why we're doing what we're doing. We do have proposals for new structures, for rental cottage and cabins. Well, that's what these are, they're rental cottages. So they have triggered site plan. So as part of site plan, we have a list of subdivision requirements, minimum submittals. We talked about the on-site soils investigation report. We talked about the statement from the fire chief. Phosphorus analysis. We just went through that. We're gonna need pre and post phosphorus analysis. Erosion and sedimentation plan. And then again, stormwater calculations. Our calculations are based on the 25-year storm in Naples. And then drainage plan, describe the patient size of rows culverts. all, some of the stuff has already been provided, some of it will need more details. And once again, stop me if you have any questions. We're moving on to 908 criterion standards, and I haven't listed everything, I just listed the ones that are specifically applicable, because like I said, there's a lot of overlap between the two. Preservation of landscape, we've already talked about, minimizing soil disturbance and retaining buffer vegetation and buffering neighboring uses. Technically, we have this is a residential use, but I think we would agree that since it's being used slightly different, that we're gonna want to maintain as much of a buffer, particularly on lot 3, as we can possibly do. No more than 2 driveways shall be permitted for ingress and egress. They've done that, they've eliminated all the other curb cuts and limited it to the 2. Stormwater management we talked about, 9086C. This was a question, are you going to have any signage or lighting related to this project?
Is it required, or
Nope,
I
it's
want
not
to keep it
required.
as intimate and as possible, so.
So that's just a question, it doesn't have to be answered tonight, whether or not you're gonna have any kind of security lighting, and if you're gonna wanna put like a little sign, cabins, or something of that nature.
Okay, yeah.
So that's something for you, food for
Yep,
thought. And that is what I had in my memo. I have a list of final, first of all, I asked if you were interested in a site walk. I know we got 9 inches of snow on the ground still. Site walk would be limited to looking at the access on Gore Road and accessing the existing houses that already have a driveway. Or you could decide not to have a site plan. It's completely up to you guys.
I'd like to have a sidewalk.
Say, you up for a sidewalk, Martina?
I am. I got snowshoes if you need some.
I don't know if I'll snowshoe down through it, but it's something I would look from as far as I can see.
Okay.
I'd be interested in taking a view
I
of the
don't know if
property.
I can do it, but I think it'd be the right thing to do, that's right.
Yeah, that's
Me,
right.
it'd be the best.
Well, we could do a drive-by for you, or something of that sort.
I want to have a clearer understanding of the
This.
relationship to the existing dwellings here.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just to,
Yeah, it's low land.
So
You
do
gotta
we
see
want
it.
to schedule a site plan, do an email scheduling of
Yeah,
site
we don't
walk, and then I can post the site walk to meet our requirements of noticing the public.
I'd like, actually, before we do the site walk, I want to make sure that the applicant has had a chance to definitely decide where these
Okay.
buildings are going to
Yep.
be, because that's meaningful.
So what we could do is when they're ready to come back again, we could schedule the site walk. We'll already have the materials in our hand. We could schedule the site walk prior to a planning board
Yeah.
meeting. And daylight is moving back
Yeah, we get
now.
more.
So, by the time we get to this, it could be light at 5 o'clock now. So I think that would probably be the best ways. Once we get the submittals, we have a complete submittal, send it off to you guys, and we schedule the site walk prior to the meeting that they're on. If that's okay with you guys.
Yep.
And we'll be sure to have that road staked out in the cabin location, so
Yeah,
you
that's
guys
the most
hopefully
helpful.
can see those from
Yeah.
at least Gore Road.
So I have a list of things that we already talked about tonight. He did provide a elevation from the outside of what the cabins might look like. That's not set in stone. So if there's any changes to that, we would love to see it. And I talked about some plans that would need to be on the note, and we also talked about waivers that would need to be requested as part of the application. I have a few things to throw out there just from ordinance perspective currently right now. These are 400 square foot dwelling units right now. Technically, he can have a single family and an accessory dwelling unit on these lots right now as the ordinance is written, because he has enough land. And remember, accessory dwelling units do not have to, currently in the shoreline zone, do not have to have the same amount of shorefront. We're not requiring additional land or additional shorefront. So depending on this gets reconfigured, there could be 3 single-family houses and potentially 3 accessory dwelling units, because the accessory dwelling units don't get counted in the density calculation right now. So, and that will still mean that each lot would have to have the required 200 feet of frontage and the required other stuff. Now, that is on for May 19th, that where we're gonna require double the shore frontage and double the lot size. The lot size has got plenty of land, but the shore frontage is the issue. Yeah, so if he were to get preliminary plan approval prior to May 19th, we would be able to reconfigure this and have some accessory dwelling units. The state is taking away the owner occupancy requirement, which we currently have for accessory dwelling units, and we have to comply by that by next year. There's a lot of moving parts right here. I'm 100% confident that they can reconfigure this in a way that meets our ordinance. It's just a matter of how exactly it's gonna look.
So no matter what happens, we couldn't say there can be no accessory dwelling units in this thing? You're saying that there's a potential
The
always?
state shoreland zoning regulation says
It'd be
that
pretty
we-
small, because to be an accessory dwelling unit, you need to be smaller than the primary,
This needs to
right?
be smaller than primary, but you could change this layout and have one single-family housing and an accessory. So you'd only have 2. One of them would be counted as a dwelling unit, the other one would be counted as an accessory dwelling unit. So there's lots of variations that this could come down to.
I would consider an option where it's 200 square foot that we've looked at.
A smaller one.
Very, very small.
An option for what, making these units smaller?
No, I'm sorry, we were talking about the ADU.
So you want to have ADUs on this?
If it's possible,
Yeah.
if it's allowed,
So on this lot 3, with these supposedly secluded vacation cabins, you now want to have an additional 3 ADUs?
No, you wouldn't do
No.
3, you couldn't do 3, because remember, it's ADU is associated with a single-family dwelling. So potentially lot 1 and 2
Yeah.
could have an ADU.
Well, lot 1 and 2, I thought.
And lot 3, if they can't meet the shorefront requirement of 200 feet per dwelling unit, they could potentially have a single family, could be larger, could be small, it could be the same, and an accessory dwelling unit, because the accessory dwelling unit currently does not have to have the additional water frontage.
Okay.
So you would have let's break it up by lots, you would have lot 1 with the house that's there, and potentially an accessory dwelling unit.
Well, you can do that anyway.
Correct, because they have 463
Right.
square feet. I'm just trying to,
160.
63, I'm sorry,
40.
463 feet of water frontage, I believe. So, lot 2 could have the existing barn, which is a dwelling unit, and another accessory dwelling unit, as long as it was under 800 square feet. Lot 3 could not have an accessory dwelling unit in this current configuration, because you've already maxed it out. In fact, you've got more than what you have water frontage for. So
They already have
I
to
could
change this.
see potentially 1 single family and an accessory dwelling unit on lot 3. So now you've got 3 single family dwellings and 3 accessory dwelling units. You have 6 total dwelling units, right? The accessories are not counted for the density or the water frontage currently.
Okay, I get all that.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is why are we even having a conversation about not having these 3
Why are-
dwellings and move and change? Is that what you're saying? Like,
They don't have, they
could
would
change
be,
this to one house with an ADU? Yeah, I know.
technically, they have to have 600 feet of frontage for 3 single-family dwellings, and they don't have 600 feet of frontage on this lot. 200 feet per dwelling unit.
Right, but I thought I heard that there was gonna be reconfiguration of the lot.
Yeah, there might be.
So
but I-
if this gets changed and this is a whole different thing, then we're done here. Then you gotta come again
No,
with
this
a new
is,
plan.
they're coming back for preliminary plan anyway, because there's too many changes.
So this isn't even a preliminary plan?
It
now?
was preliminary plan approval,
Okay.
it was listed as preliminary plan approval. When we dug into it a little bit, I found that there is that provision that the whole thing has to be treated with shoreland. That changes all the calculations. Do you see what I'm saying, the net
Yeah,
residential density? So I don't think it's wasted time. This is a very unique we've triggered minor subdivision and major site plan. You're marrying two sets of standards. You're also triggering regular land use ordinance and shoreland zoning ordinance. It's also a conversation about, we had to have that long conversation about, is this a commercial use or is this a residential use? So there's a lot of unique aspects to this project.
And just to answer the question, I'm sorry, about the space, I think during the sidewalk, it will be much easier to understand. But when you walk around my land, you see how much space there is, and if I want to add, if I had the ability to add a 200 square foot property, you wouldn't even see it. It's just,
In addition to these 3 units.
so the 3 units are on the other side of the stream, right? So, and they have plenty of acreage, way less dense than farming, way less. And then to the other side of the stream, there's 2 existing properties, but there's plenty of land still on the Lake House Road
He's talking
side.
about lot 1 and 2.
Right, to install a tiny 200 square foot property that no one will see.
Right, on lot 1 or 2.
Lot 1 or 2.
So I don't know why we're
Right.
Yeah.
mixing this all together. I mean,
Because it has bearing, there's a couple of reasons, because it has a bearing on the calculation, and it has a bearing on the overall layout. We want to make sure that how this is going to work overall. And it has a bearing on how they reconfigure these lots. Right now, lot 1 and 2 certainly could have an accessory dwelling unit. There's no barrier, except for that lot 2 doesn't have the 200 feet of frontage for the 1 dwelling unit that's there, shown on here. So there's a lot of moving parts, for sure. But I think what they're looking for you is just some input on what you're gonna require. I think that's the biggest thing.
And we'll make the changes, but I think this is valuable, at least from our standpoint.
No, this is great. I mean, we're
That's
getting
what
good
we're doing.
direction. We're getting good direction from you guys on where to move this forward, so.
I mean, I'll be 100% honest, I've never had a project that triggered major site plan with minor subdivision, with the component of the state's new ADU and dwelling units stuff in there, and shoreland and regular land use applied in this way. It's just very unique. So it's just gonna take a little bit of working through. I think we've got the land to figure it out.
So I think that in the end here today, what we're seeing is if lot 3 is reconfigured so it can accept these 3 units.
Yeah,
Then we just have a couple of bullet points on here that we've asked
Yes.
you to complete.
yep, and
If
open
that's gonna
space.
change,
Yeah,
and then, like Martina said, then we're just gonna have a whole new kind of plan.
it'll be preliminary, well, what could happen is you could table the preliminary plan, and they're gonna bring back an adjusted preliminary plan, basically. And the open space is a component that does.
so it's premature to make any decisions on waiver requests.
No.
Correct, correct,
Because we don't know what it's
well,
gonna
we
look
won't
like.
know exactly what's gonna be required
it's a
yet.
waiving.
Yeah, we don't know what's gonna be required yet for a waiver.
It may change a little bit, the 3 units may go away, it may turn into a single unit with accessory, so
Yeah.
that may
Well,
change
yeah,
all
that
that.
would be a totally different.
How do you guys feel about underground utilities versus overhead?
That's a good question.
Oh, I think the ordinance is clear on that, and the whole point was to make them all underground.
Underground, so I think that's
Yeah,
the
we'd like
direction
to
we'd
keep
be
those
leaning
underground.
I would
towards.
not be waiving that.
Those are the
We
kind of
waived it
questions.
every time someone asked for it. I think.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying,
So that's
that's
the
a
kind
decision
of-
direction we can make
Yes,
right now.
that's the kind of direction that I
Yes.
would think would be helpful
That's why I asked
tonight.
about the waivers, but I don't, yeah, I'm not.
Right now, I think that's clear.
Yeah.
And then the second one is the road standard for pavement and sidewalks and all the things that are required in subdivision.
Well, yeah, this is a unique thing. I don't
It
think-
is.
Well, I don't think you need sidewalks, my
It's-
personal opinion, and I don't think it has to be a paved road. Unless you want to do that for dust control.
No.
Yeah, so
that's
in
a
some
different
towns, this would be considered a driveway,
Yeah.
which a shared driveway can be not paved, but because it is considered a road in Naples, that's why I'm asking that question. So that would be a waiver that you guys could be supportive of.
Adjacent to shoreland zone 2. That's got its own set of issues
Right.
from a water runoff.
Right, and I'm hearing that the stormwater plan is required.
Yes.
I'm hearing that you want a phosphorus plan even though it's minor subdivision.
Yes.
So those are the kind of direction that they're looking for
Mm-hmm.
at this point.
And can you get back to open space?
Sure.
You made a comment, I think, about from the buildings kind of down to the waterfront could be used as open
It
space
could
along the three
potentially, I
lots?
mean, it's up to them to design
Yeah.
that 10%
Okay.
of what that looks like. It would be shared by all 3 lots.
Okay.
But it is a requirement, and the way I read your ordinance, it is not a waiverable requirement. The way I
Right.
read it, it says shall have, not may have. And then at the end, you have a list of things that you can grant waivers on, and that's not one of the things that's listed
And it has to be 10% of lot 1, 2, and 3.
of the entire
Entire subdivision.
subdivision, correct.
So I think we're gonna go back and reorganize, but just to be clear, I'm not planning to change anything dramatically other than moving the lines to meet the code and the
Yeah.
ordinances, right? So I don't think you'll be surprised that there's still 3 tiny little cabins on lot 3, and potentially, if possible, the 2 really tiny ADUs on lot 1 and lot 2.
Yep, and we can meet again either electronically on Zoom or whatever, or in person if you want. And once you kind of get a sketch of making sure, and we'll make sure we tick all the boxes.
I think that'd be helpful once we get a layout that we think
Before.
works, that you can give it a look and say, yeah, that works.
I think if you look at my memo, it addresses most of those issues, but it did not address the shore frontage because I wasn't calculating it according to the shorefront, the definition in shoreland zoning. So that's the big change from my memo, is the shore frontage
Yep.
calculation.
All right, so I guess we'll entertain a motion to table this until it's presented for us again at our, let's say, the next available meeting. Have a redraw the lines, or whatever the proposal's gonna be.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Second?
okay, motion second, all in favor? 4, oh, Robert's out, 3-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you guys, we'll
Thank you.
catch up again.
Yep.
I see no public participation. Planning board matters, any other business, Kathy?
I do, I initially told you guys you're gonna have March 3rd off, now you're not, because we gotta do the ordinance public hearing.
Okay.
So, no March 3rd off, and I think we already have something for the 17th, or not yet. So I'll keep you noticed on the 17th.
Okay.
And, oh, no, is it the same night as town meeting? Was there a conflict? On May.
Oh, yeah, there was.
Yeah, May 19th will
May
be
19th.
definitely canceled because
Yeah,
we have
May
town
19th.
meeting.
And for March 3rd, I know Marty's not going to be here and Robert is not either. However, Robert has agreed to do it via Zoom,
So that we'll have a quorum.
so we'll have a quorum, and
For which
I
meeting
still
is
got
that?
word out there for
March 3rd.
Jim too, to see if he'll
If
do
you
it
need
too.
me.
And the
You
other
mean,
reason
right.
why we're doing March 3rd is because there is a resident, or 1 or 2, that are actually flying here to, for the public hearing for.
And they've already purchased
And they've already
tickets.
purchased their tickets, so we don't want to cancel that meeting.
So we already know that Jimmy Allen cannot be here on March 3rd?
He was gonna be up north as well,
But
so I don't,
if we need him, I think he said he would Zoom in, but only if we need him.
exactly, the same with,
Same
same with
Yeah.
Robert. So
Which-
they will both be sent the Zoom link, and whichever one gets in first, that's who we'll take, and then
We'll-
bye-bye to the other one.
So,
And that's
yeah.
okay, because I thought we didn't do Zoom lines.
Oh, it'll be specific, emailed
It's
specifically
only
to
gonna be them too.
So
No,
that
I
some-
thought in general, because technically we have an alternate, so I thought we had a thing with the planning board, that we didn't do Zoom meetings.
That's, maybe.
And I don't wanna cause
Yeah,
problems,
no.
because it's a public
Right,
hearing, but
it's
it's really frustrating.
I hate Zoom meetings.
No,
hate-
I mean, it's frustrating that a supposed 7-member board can't get
Right.
3 people.
So on that note, we do have, people have pulled papers, we've got Doug that's reapplied, and then we have a new person that is
Yep.
applying for an alternate. And who else, there was a missing one.
I think there was another person too,
There was
but I
another
don't know
person, so,
what the name
and
is either.
so I think, I don't know that we'll have a full board, because I think there'll still be an alternate position potentially, I'm not sure.
Well,
No,
if
just two
if Jen doesn't re-up, then it would have Morgan,
Yeah.
right? And then that other girl, or that other person, so that'd be
Might
two.
filled, so it might be
That
filled.
would be full with you guys and then the two
And
alternates.
on that other note, there's the potential, if the budget gets passed, I've asked for a stipend for, to allow someone to fill in the event that, Randy is out of the office for an emergency or paid time off, regular vacation time, if that gets passed. But if the individual that we're considering were to do that, he would be able to fill in for planning board's meetings as well, because he's both a code officer and an AICP, planner. So that would definitely, create some leeway for me if I need to be out, and we could still continue to have a meeting. So hopefully that all plays out that way. That's all I got.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Good. All in favor? Robert can vote on that one. Was there?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.